Ladies and gentlemen, Ron DeSantis has essentially conceded to Trump. Everybody running already knows, from Chris Christie to everybody else, that they're going to lose to Donald Trump. Trump is far and away the favorite within the Republican Party. He's the only Republican who could get 70 plus million Americans to vote Republican. Okay, he's the only person who could possibly withstand 24/7, never-ending, nonstop, negative media from CNN, MSNBC, The Washington Post, The New York Times, The Atlantic, New Yorker, New York Magazine, Vanity Fair, Esquire, Rolling Stone, and every other regional publication, Los Angeles Times, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Arizona Republic. I mean, then you have Jimmy Kimmel, Saturday Night Live. You had Twitter before Elon Musk. When people say, well, DeSantis is a good alternative, the good things about DeSantis is that, like, the advantage DeSantis has over others is that he's the most like Trump. People like DeSantis because they feel he's similar to Donald Trump, but without the baggage. But media have not leveled their disdain and contempt and vitriol and venom towards DeSantis 24/7. Democrats don't have like this moral compass that just stays in one direction. They will quickly say that DeSantis is worse than Trump ever was if there's ever a time where DeSantis, becomes the nominee in 28, probably. Okay, so in 2028, DeSantis will be the nominee, very, very likely. And they'll say, oh my God, he's worse than Trump. They just care. Media says the same thing. They're an extension of the Democratic Party, just like Twitter was. There is no more objective media. Okay, you look back in the day, you had Christopher Hitchens writing for Vanity Fair, Hunter S. Thompson writing for Rolling Stone. They would never be published. These are one of the greatest writers of the past 100 years. They would never be published. Okay? They would never even be published today. And they would be viewed as extreme right conservatives. Anyone that doesn't fit within a very specific paradigm is viewed as a harmful presence that should never be allowed to speak their mind. That's why when Democrats, when you ask them in polls, hey, do you think there should be censorship of different political views? They're like, yeah, totally. They don't really enjoy debate, dialogue, discourse, discussion, because if you allow that, then the conservative viewpoint on a whole bunch of topics wins out. If you actually have a dialogue, debate, discourse, discussion, for example, Trump being set up and framed. We know from the Durham probe report that Adam Schiff lied for like 6-7 years. They never had any evidence. The investigations were started without any evidence. And the only reason they were started is because Clinton and the DNC purchased a Steele dossier. And all the people involved had a vested interest in seeing Trump lose or seeing Trump, his administration, tarnished. And it's within their text messages. It's within their own writing. So these people are eventually kicked out of the Bureau. They're eventually kicked out of the DOJ. And we know that all of it emanated from Clinton. The FEC fined the Clinton campaign and the DNC. They didn't find Trump. So you might not like Trump's personality, but he was, if you're stumbling upon this and you're a morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat, but he was set up and framed. The Durham probe did not charge anyone on 18 U.S. Code 371, and they could have. The Durham probe, when it was running, did not have the political will. It did not have the political will in Congress You didn't have a Republican, a Trump Republican House of Representatives. It was a different ballgame. You had too many never Trumpers. And so Durham tried to just he tried to do what Mueller did. Mueller probe found nothing. That was a catastrophic failure for Democrats. Found literally nothing. There was zero effort by any country to help Trump. Zero, nothing. Clinton lost miserably to Trump. And then they needed a scapegoat. They still can't find even one Facebook ad, or if the rebuttal is, well, that's not true. There was a concerted effort. We found that out. Try to describe a Facebook ad that swung people from Clinton to Trump. A Twitter bot. You'd have to be the most naive, foolish, and gullible person to believe any of this. Or you're just stuck in the vote blue no matter who mentality. Like it is a cult. And one of the hallmarks of a cult is disowning friends and family. You think I care if a close friend of mine thinks that Trump worked with the Kremlin? I would just be like, you're wrong, but okay. The other way around, they're disowning the liberal Democrats around this country. More often than not, have disowned friends and family because of the lies told by people in Congress regarding Trump. When the Washington Post comes out with a 14,000, 15, 20, 40,000 lies, they're not lies. Most of them are not lies, or they're hyperbolic or whatever that Trump told. But they don't talk about the lies that Biden and Democrats have told for 7 years. So what is DeSantis getting back to DeSantis, what is DeSantis going to do? Say that Trump worked with the Kremlin? Say that Trump is being investigated, so therefore vote for him? Say that media won't treat him in the same manner they treated Trump? What's DeSantis going to say? There's really nothing DeSantis can do. He has not received the full attention of the Democratic Party and media. Okay, once he does, he's not viewed as a threat. Once he is viewed as a serious obstacle, a political obstacle, then they'll level their sights politically, and it'll be nonstop, never-ending coverage, and then that you get the frenzy, the apoplectic hysteria regarding DeSantis. They're doing it already with Disney, and they're making a big deal about Disney not spending $1 billion. According to DeSantis, Florida loses money from having Disney there. So, or at least having Disney there with the current setup. Very different from when AOC forced Amazon out of New York, which would have actually helped New York and given hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue. So, anyway, I think that it's obviously going to be Trump. We know now from the Durham probe report, it's going to be Trump as the nominee. There's nobody close to him. And any indictment, well, the indictment in New York is hilarious. There's nothing there. They literally fabricated the whole thing. Even legal scholars on the left are saying, it's not really that good. If they try to go after him in Georgia or a special counsel, it'll go to the Supreme Court. He'll be vindicated. And at the end of the day, he's going to be vindicated just like the Durham probe special counsel, just like the Durham probe report vindicated him. But the thousands and thousands and thousands of articles written about how Trump is a criminal and how Trump is a menace, that is going to convince enough people, again, to disown friends and family. They truly believe, look, the average, wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrat truly believes that he or she is morally superior. They're completely ignorant to the crimes and felonies of Hunter and Joe and others, specifically detailed within the New York Post reporting. You'd have to read the New York Post and the Daily Mail and other publications. Hit subscribe to this channel. Go to hagoodman.com to read my writing in The Hill, the Huffington Post, Salon, the Jerusalem Post, the Federalist, and other publications. My Patreon is below. The super thanks is below. I'll be back in about an hour. about 2 hours. Thank you so much.